Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be discussing about Jimmie Johnson not making the playoffs and why this is such a big deal. I couldn't tell you that beginning of the year, I said Jimmie Johnson would make the playoffs. I did not imagine that after being a 7-time champion and being in the playoffs every year since 2004 and winning 83 races, I would not have imagined that Jimmie Johnson would ever miss the playoffs in his career until he retired. To see that he's not even going to be in this year's NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series playoffs is crazy to me. But the stats don't lie. His season has not been very good, and we're going to talk about stats first. So his stats this year, after 26 races, he doesn't have a win. He only has 3 top 5s this year, 8 top 10s, which, by the way, he already has more top 5s, though, than last year, so that's a good thing. 1 pole, which is already improvement there. He has led double the amount of laps he's led, so that's a good stat there. But his average finish is worse than last year's 16.9. A little, I'll admit, his average finish is not much worse than last year's, but still his average finish is down from last year. And I mean, he's not just hasn't had a good year, and there's a lot of reasons. There's a couple reasons for why his year and why he's not in the playoffs. First reason, multiple crew chief changes. He had 2 crew chief changes throughout the year. He started off with Kevin Menry, who was L.A. Sadler's crew chief at the beginning of the year, but because the performance he probably thought the performance was not the greatest. He basically switched to Cliff Daniels with about 5 races to go for the playoffs, and while they were running pretty good, every time they were running, like I said, they were running really good. The performances, the finishes were not there, as you can see. Since Cliff Daniels, they finished 19th, 34th, 19th, 16th, and then 35th. Albeit, he had a little bit of help to get some of those really bad finishes, but still, Johnson just basically struggled with Cliff Daniels. And maybe they'll build some momentum throughout the rest of the year. Maybe there's a way for him to get back and maybe win a race by the year, which he could still do it. I mean, I wouldn't completely count him out of winning a race before the end of the year is over. Maybe by Talladega or maybe not Bristol, maybe Martinsville. But I think a lot of people don't realize how big a deal it is that he's not in the playoffs this year. It's a pretty big deal. Number one, Jimmie Johnson is the best driver. Is undeniably, like I said, the best driver of this era of NASCAR. In the playoff era, when you associate any driver with the playoff area, you look at Jimmie Johnson. And he's the only driver until now that had made the playoffs every single year. But Jimmie Johnson not being in the playoffs it's just insane to me that he's not even going to be in this year's playoffs. And it's going to suck not seeing Jimmie Johnson. It's like people are going to be coming on who are newer fans and be like, why is Jimmie Johnson not marked in the green on the screen as a playoff driver? And then some will have to explain, well, for the first time in his career, he's not in the playoffs. And I think that this is, like I said, I know I've said this multiple times before, but I think that this story is the biggest story of the season by far. And it's the biggest story of probably the last 2 years. Well, other than maybe Brian France, Chase Elliott first win. But Jimmie Johnson not making the playoffs is, like I said, the biggest story of 2019. So, yeah, and also Johnson just having multiple crew chief changes. And then Hendrick Motorsports at the beginning of the year they just haven't been there. I mean, they just weren't there at the beginning of the year. I'm going to say Hendrick kind of was in a problem as well, even though Byron, Bowman, and Chase were able to perform well, and Chase and Bowman scored wins. I'm just saying. I also think Johnson is a little bit older, so maybe because he's a little bit older, there's a chance that Johnson, could not be as good. I still think Johnson isn't done, and I'm going to say this right now. Even though Jimmie Johnson is not racing in the playoffs, I don't think he's done. I think he is still going to perform extremely well. I think he is still going to maybe win a race by the end of the year. I'm saying that he's still going to win a race, at least one. And I'm saying this as well. I think that next year he's going to come back and be really, really, really strong. Remember 2017? I know. Joey Logano didn't make playoffs 2017. What happens the next year? He wins the title. I know Logano was a lot younger and he has a lot more. Has been one of the more top guys recently over Jimmie Johnson. But still, I think Jimmie Johnson may be able to come back. And Cliff Daniels, I think, is going to help that. I think that in performance, when he's not finishing 35th, you've seen how the runs have been. He's been more up front with Cliff Daniels. It's just that the luck for Jimmie Johnson also this year, he just has not had very, very good luck at all in 2019. If you look at his finishes, you look at the finishes, there's been plenty of times where Jimmie Johnson has looked extremely, extremely good and looks like he's going to have a good day. You look at Kentucky running top 10, which could have made him in the playoffs. Rest of the race, pretty much. New Hampshire, you look back in New Hampshire, he had engine troubles running. I thought he was running good enough to make the playoffs. Just not a good day right there. You look at other races where they didn't qualify well or just had no speed. Michigan, he got himself into the wall, which kind of hurt his chances. Bristol probably had a car that maybe could have had a good day. He got involved in a wreck with Austin Dillon, who hit the outside wall, and Johnson still came out in the top 20, but it wasn't enough to keep him there. And then Darlington, where I really believe that if Johnson didn't get involved in that wreck at Darlington, I don't think he would have been so aggressive because Johnson would have only had to gain like 6 or 7 points to get into the playoffs. And unfortunately, because of getting involved in that wreck, like I said 56 ago in yesterday's video, I just don't think it was meant to be. And Johnson, unfortunately, will not be racing in the playoffs. So yeah, not seeing Jimmie in the playoffs sucks. And as a Jimmie Johnson fan, I was rooting for him yesterday, and sucks he's not in there, but it is what it is. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you can be notified when it's on the channel. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, links in the description below for that, and comment below your opinions on Jimmie Johnson made the playoffs. How did you feel when you found out that Jimmie Johnson, if he is your favorite driver, how did you feel if he didn't make the playoffs? Let me know below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.